All right, so you ready for this deep dive?
Oh, yeah, definitely. Let's do it.
Okay, so it's all about the vocabulary and idioms from that um, podcast you sent over.
Right.
It was what, about 30 minutes long, something like that.
About that?
And we're gonna pull out all the really useful stuff.
Yeah.
All the stuff you can actually use, so you can just walk away,
Yay.
feeling like a total vocabulary pro, like you're ready to go out there and use all these words, impress everyone.
And it was what I really liked about this podcast was that, they didn't just give you a definition.
Right.
They actually gave examples of how to use the words and the idioms in real life.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
Which is
Because
so much more helpful.
it's one thing to, know the definition of something like, let's say, kick the bucket. But, how do you actually work that into a regular conversation?
Yeah, exactly.
And that actually reminds me of the point that the podcast made about, context.
Yes, context is so important. You don't want to use an idiom in the wrong situation.
Oh, yeah.
Could
you imagine?
The podcast host gave this hilarious example.
Oh, wait. Before you tell that story.
Okay.
I just want to, check in with the listener for a sec.
Oh, yeah.
And just see, how familiar are you with idioms already?
Yeah, good point.
Are you, a beginner?
Right.
Are you intermediate? Or are you already, advanced?
Yeah, where are you starting from?
No judgment here.
Yeah.
It's all good. We just want to make sure we explain things in a way that makes sense for you.
It helps us tailor this deep dive.
Yeah, exactly.
So, okay, back to that funny example.
Yeah.
So the podcast host was talking about, how someone tried to cheer up their friend who had, a broken leg by saying, break a leg. And the friend was, not amused at all.
Yeah, I can imagine.
And it just highlights, how using the wrong idiom in the wrong context.
Oh, absolutely.
It can lead to, these awkward silences.
Misunderstandings, awkward silences. Yeah, it's really.
Yeah, exactly.
It could be rough.
Yeah.
Oh, man. That reminds me of that time
Oh, yeah.
I tried to use piece of cake to describe a task.
It
It turned out to be the opposite of a piece of cake.
Oh.
My coworkers still tease me about it to this day.
Yeah.
But you know what? That actually kind of leads into another really interesting point that the podcast made.
Okay.
It wasn't just about individual words or idioms.
Right.
It was the bigger picture.
Yeah.
How these things can actually build your communication skills.
Yes, communication skills. That was a really key takeaway.
So what do they say about that?
Well, they were talking about how using the right idiom or the right vocabulary word can make you a more persuasive communicator.
Oh, okay, interesting.
Remember that discussion about the word ubiquitous?
Yeah.
And how they linked that to the idiom can't swing a cat without hitting one.
Oh, yeah. That was a good one.
That was their example.
Yeah.
So they were saying instead of just saying something is common,
Right.
you can use that idiom to create a more vivid image.
Yeah.
And really drive your point home. It's
You get people's attention.
boom, you've got everyone's attention.
Yeah.
Because it's it's so descriptive.
It's almost like choosing the right spice for a dish.
Yeah.
If the right idiom can just make everything more flavorful, more interesting.
Totally. And it's not just about sounding fancy or whatever. It's about being clear, engaging, memorable.
Yeah, exactly.
So, yeah, I thought that was a really key point.
So, okay, so we've talked about a lot of stuff here.
Yeah.
But what does it all mean for you, dear listener?
Right.
What's the takeaway?
Yeah.
It means that you now have this toolkit of new vocabulary and idioms.
Hey, yes.
You're not just learning these things.
They're leveling up.
You're leveling up your communication skills.
Exactly.
You're going to be out there
Yeah.
just blowing people away with
Yeah.
your eloquence.
That's the goal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But before we wrap up this deep dive,
Yeah.
we have one final thought for you, dear listener.
Okay.
Okay, so we've talked about a lot of different resources, but we're curious. What other methods or resources could help you on your language learning quest?
Yeah.
What about reading?
Yeah.
Reading.
Word games.
Word games, puzzles,
Crossword puzzles, all that good stuff.
Exactly, all that.
We'd love to hear your thoughts.
Yeah. What are your go-tos?
What are your favorites? Let us know.
Yeah.
All right.